Hey guys, episode 2, Nick Reviews Anything. Got Ron Burgundy, pretty cool. Thanks for liking it, sharing it. It's awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Hopefully this will be a recurring thing. Really appreciate the feedback I've gotten. Keep sharing. Maybe it'll grow. Certainly hope so. It's kind of fun to do. Got a little Yoda backpack. Hanging out in my kitchen. So tonight, big topic, the Beatles. Biggest group of all time. Here to not really to review them, because obviously everyone knows they're great. I'm here to review the remasters. And I'm a little late on this. I mean, these things came out a couple years ago. But I'm also here to clear up some really big misconceptions with the Beatles records. So, why the Beatles? Why do I want it in mono? Why, I get asked this all the time. Like, why do I want the Beatles in mono? I have a stereo set up. I paid a lot of money for a turntable and speakers to get 2 speakers. Why am I paying in mono? So I'm here to kind of review the mono, explain the whole thing, clear up some misconceptions, and kind of, hopefully, maybe you guys learned something out of it. I don't know. Maybe you know it already. I don't know. So, Beatles. Remember, back in the 60s, early 60s, stereophonic either didn't exist or was in its very early stages. The Beatles catalog was originally recorded by the Beatles in mono. So, they spent all their time mixing it down, working on it in mono. So, what we know as stereo, this was mixed to sound that way through mono. So, that's why if you research vintage Beatles records, the mono copies are always worth way more than the stereo copies. Because A, they're more rare, and B, that's the way they were originally intended. And they sound correct. So when I say correct, they don't sound hard left and hard right. So if you have a Beatles record like this is just a Sgt. Pepper's I grabbed. Red Label Capital. This is probably issued in like 79, late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. Not original. Stereo, hard left, hard right. When I put this record on, you're going to hear a vocal and a guitar out of that speaker, and a drum and a guitar out of that speaker. And it's awful. I mean, it just sounds weird to hear half of it out of here, half out of here, and you have to mix it in your brain. And it's just, get a demo of it. If you come to my store, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can listen to it, and you'll be like, that's weird. That's why, and not just the Beatles. Like, this happened with the early Rolling Stones records. This happened with, like, the Beach Boys records. Anything, like, you see mono, like, that is why. Stereo was created by, they wanted to sell stereo. It was the big thing at the time. So they made a stereo copy. They just got a guy at a mixing board, and he just goes, oh, this goes over here, this goes over here, this goes over here. They just paid some guy to do it. It's not the way the artist originally intended it to be. So it sounds funky. So, original mono is the way to go. Problem is, it's very hard to find, and it's very expensive. So for most of you out there, I highly recommend the Beatles mono reissues. They're awesome. They're so good that I traded in all my originals except for this one when I got this bad boy. This is the whole box set. But like I said, this isn't to sell the box set. I mean, we can still get them. We don't have them in stock, but we can still get them for the time being until they go out of print. But it's pretty cool. It's got, let's see here. We got all the records. It's got a cool book in it. Book only comes with the box set. got all the cool packaging. But yeah, you can get these individually. They're like $24. They're not expensive at all. So, I mean, you'll spend $20 on a clean original anyway. A clean one from the 70s, you'll spend $20. So for $24, you get a brand new 180 gram mono reissue. It's the way to go. And for those of you that don't know, Beatles records in America were ripped off. We were given 2 less songs per record so that they could save those 2 songs per record and sell an extra record to us in America. So these are packaged the way they were originally intended in the UK. Not what we got in America. We did not get these records. Ours don't look like this. We got other ones. They don't. We got like Beatles 64 and Beatles' second album and Introducing the Beatles. We didn't get these. Yeah, so these are original, the way they were originally put in England with the original track listing. They even have the flip back covers where they used to tape or glue the flip backs on these. These are the way the original UK pressings are. So super cool to get like reissues of the way they originally came out in the original country and the way they sound. But the way these really stand apart, not only are they inexpensive individually, but the sound quality is unbelievable. The Beatles were last remastered in 1987. I was born in 1987. That is ungodly amount of time long ago. That was when like the CDs came out. If you ever see those, like you'll see 87 Beatles CDs. They're pretty common. It was the last time they were really widely introduced. Digital was in its infancy in 87. It was not good. It was not good at all. In fact, it was pretty poor. So this blows the doors off of those. The only downside to these is I believe they did come from digital masters. But don't let that scare you. They didn't really have much else of a choice. I think Fremer gave this like a 10 out of 11. I mean, these things are killer. If you don't believe me, go pick one up. I still have some at the store. Some of them they're running out of. Like I said, these things have been out for like 2 years. If you've been in my store in the last 2 years, you've seen them. Sound test them. You got a regular copy at home? Come buy the new one, play it together, and I guarantee you're going to like the new one better. It sounds so much better. Your brain will explode. The box set, we have like 340, like 338 on it, which at the time we were beating Amazon. We were cheaper than Amazon. So I don't know if that's currently the price because they're, like I said, some of them are, especially with the Beatles, the Sgt. Pepper 50th anniversary out, which I hear is unbelievable. Might even beat what's in this box or rival it. That's kind of thrown off. Like, I'm not sure if you can still get the mono one new or if they quit making those because of the 50th. I don't know. I haven't personally heard the 50th. I've heard it's up there with this. So, and that came from a 4-track tape that they had found that hadn't been used, hadn't been mixed down. They used that. Another awesome source. So, the new stuff coming down the line is killing the old stuff. So for, if you can't afford, if you can find a cheap 80s copy, there's nothing wrong with that. I get that. If you find it for $8, $10, $12, we usually sell these for like, 12 to 20. But $24, man, you can't beat it. If you can get any of these in here for 24, it's just the way to go. And the new Beatles 50th, I know it's a little pricier. I think it's like $34, $35. You get an extra LP. Again, it's supposed to be a lot better. So yeah, I covered kind of like the mono, why mono is what you want. Obviously the new issues, 180 gram, they're brand new. They're superior to what you've heard. The box set obviously has some goodies in it. I don't have to review the music because everyone knows the music. It's obviously very popular. And then I was just going to share some like what they originally looked like. I've got some UK original. The label looks a little different. I don't know if you can see. The only thing that I've heard that really rivals this box. Pre-Beatles, the 50th Sgt. Pepper's, but so everything else in the box. The only thing that really rivals those are the original UK monos. And last I checked, those are running like $200 each. They're very expensive. I have a few of them laying around, but I don't even have a complete set. I have like 2 of them. So they rival it. I've heard a back-to-back. When we got this, we did a back-to-back. You know, there wasn't a clear winner. One had better highs, the other had better lows. You know, they were both very good. They were both superior, but there was no clear winner. And that's what you're going to find when you go into a lot of audiophile stuff. Especially like the Miles Davis Kind of Blue box that came out by Mobile Fidelity. I mean, very good, but there's no true winner. You know, as you'll see, there's the 45 box. There's the Classic Records cut. There's, I think there's UHQR. There's no clear winner. There's some that are far above the rest, but everyone hears differently. Everyone has a different setup. You know, your ears are going to hear slightly differently. But there is an upper echelon. I mean, I don't care what you're playing this on. This is going to sound better than your standard off-the-shelf 70s reissue. So, buy mono. Buy the reissues. They're not that expensive. Come say hi to me and we'll talk about Ron Burgundy. He's pretty cool. So yeah, I think I covered everything. Am I forgetting anything? No, I think I got it. Anyway, I'll probably remember something later, and I totally spaced. So, anyway, thanks for checking it out. Like the page, share it, come in, say hi, say like, hey, I listened to my dad's old, Beatles records, and then I bought this, and it was so much better. Like, thank you. Like, that would be awesome. I love to hear feedback like that. It's phenomenal. Even better if you watched this and you learned something, and I didn't have to explain the mono thing. Why mono is such a big deal in the record community. So, thanks guys. See you soon. Hopefully we'll do an episode 3 pretty quick. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks. Bye. One last thing. I have to amend the previous video that I just did. These are all analog. They were all analog all the way from the source, all the way through the vinyl process. I totally screwed it up. Nick's Reviews Anything is, I'm new to this. So, yeah, that's why they sound so good. They were taken right from the original master tape through all analog all the way to the disc. So, I was mixing up digital sourcing from a different thing. Like I said, this is a few years old. Stuff comes out every 2 weeks. So these are all analog. That's another reason why you want them. That's why they're so good. Come in, check them out. Sorry for the screw up.